Hey, what's going on, everyone? So it's been a while since I've broken down any MMA or UFC fights, but this weekend's fights, Adesanya versus Periera at Madison Square Garden, it's just got me a little bit too excited, so I have to do this breakdown. I'm looking at bringing it back and trying to do some more, but we'll just see how we go. Okay, so I'm just going to run down the pros for Israel Adesanya and then compare that to Periera. So let's start with Israel Adesanya. Alright, pros, MMA experience, that's going to be probably one of the biggest ones. So I think Adesanya is like 23 for one loss at light heavyweight, so we can sort of take that with a grain of salt coming into this. I know that Pereira's quite a big middleweight, but I mean, the guy that Izzy lost to was quite a bit bigger. And his strategy, he had a great strategy. You know, he wrestled, he caught the timing of the takedown in the middle of the octagon and very much laid on him, exposing Izzy's ground game on his back in the middle of the octagon. So I think the MMA experience that's going to be a huge pro for Adesanya. So that's one big tick. Another one for Adesanya. So we've got more technical. So it's going to be more technical, even in the two kickboxing fights that these guys have had previously. You know, he basically he'll hit and move away real fast. So he was, I would say he's probably the most technical kickboxer at that time on the circuit. That's my opinion. So I think that's going to go in his favour as well. Fitness and conditioning. We know that Izzy comes in super fit. All the stuff that they do, all the breath work and stuff that he does with integrated training, Dave Wood in Auckland. All of that composure under pressure, sort of like nose breathing at the end of a fight. Stays super composed, doesn't waste any energy, manages his energy super well. So I think, and he's been the distance like most of his fights, like, you know, five round fights. So that is definitely on his side. He's also a BJJ purple belt. I'm pretty sure he's higher ranked than Alex Periera. Whether or not he's better, I don't know. We haven't seen him use his jiu-jitsu. He used it a little bit against Calvin Gastelum, but I can't imagine, because he got graded by from ATOS Jiu-Jitsu. Why have I forgotten his name? He's like one of the greatest BJJ practitioners. You guys know who I mean. Go Gordon Ryan, Andre Gaval. Yeah, like, I can't imagine he gives purple belts away very easily. So he must be doing something right there. So there's that. So if it does go to the ground, I just don't think he's going to use that. But I think he's more than capable on the ground. I know that Izzy also has a great wrestling coach, a Romanian wrestling coach, Andre Paulette, who's pretty decently accomplished. But I think it's just the work they do in there is going to be enough to. So he might be able to threaten takedown or something like that. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think he's going to be better on the ground. Smaller gloves is a pro for both. So I'll get into Pereira's pros soon. So smaller gloves for Adesanya mean that they're not easily blocked. So he can find the space easy on a small glove. Obviously, if it's a bigger glove, you can block more of it or whatever. Smaller glove is going to get through. So if you're not as fast or as fluent or technical, you're going to get hit more. And he was quite hittable in those two kickboxing fights that they had. So there's that. Israel Adesanya's been battle tested. We saw that through the Calvin Gastelum fight, and he's gone 5 rounds multiple times, which also assists with his conditioning and things like that. He knows what it's like to go 25 minutes, and he's battle tested in that, so that's another pro for him. Izzy is also used to the moment, you know, the lights and everything like that, like that's not going to phase him at all. The media, all that stuff, he's used to it. He knows how to manage his energy around all of that. He's used to people saying he's going to lose, all this sort of stuff. Izzy also has a better kickboxing record, so 75 for 5. And I think his boxing record was like 6 for 1. He had one loss at boxing. But kickboxing, 75 for 5, that's incredible. Like, fighting like really, really good guys as well. And obviously 2 of those losses come from this guy, Baheda. Yeah, so that's an incredible record. Okay, so they're the pros for Adesanya. Let's go over to Periera. Okay, pros is power. Like if he connects, especially with the smaller gloves, it's probably going to be night for Izzy again. He has more recent kickboxing experience because Izzy left in 2017-2018 after he got knocked out by Periera. He left and then focused on MMA full time after that. So he was in splitting his time with kickboxing, Muay Thai, all that striking side of it, as well as the grappling. So getting better on the ground, the wrestling, the defensive wrestling mostly, I would say. And then Alex continued on from there, and he's probably got 3 more years of pure kickboxing experience. The smaller gloves favour him as well, because if he can cause damage with big 10 ounce or 12 ounce gloves, I'm not sure what they use in kickboxing. That there's going to be more sting behind that with smaller glove. So the smaller gloves for both fighters are a pro. Periera has a psychological edge. He's beaten Izzy twice, allegedly. We all know the narrative, and I agree with it that Adesanya he should have won the first fight, and then he was doing really, really well in the second fight. Like, he was actually touching him, and it was pretty one-way traffic a lot of the time. Like, Periera definitely had his moments in the second fight, but he got that standing 8 count. He was saved by the ref, so there's that. But he ended up knocking Adesanya out. But it's because, and I do believe this, it's because Adesanya was pushing it, and that's not his style, because he didn't want another bad decision. He didn't want it to go to the judges, so he started pushing it. But he was winning more clearer in this fight than the previous fight. So it was unfortunate he got knocked out, pretty bad knockout. But so Periera has a psychological edge on that one. Periera has also achieved more in kickboxing. He's a 2-division glory champ. So there's that as well. So that Periera's pros. Just around that though. So he is a 2-division champion. But how, he's mostly knocking, if we look at Periera's record, it's 33 for 7. So he's got 33 wins and 7 losses. Okay, 21 of those 33 he won by KO. So he's a knockout artist, right? And he was knocking out most people. I think there was one of the guys that he'd knocked out to win the belt and defend the belts and things like that. But the thing is, the guys that he's knocked out to get to that status, they're not as technically and defensively sound as Adesanya. Adesanya made a mistake, and he's not going to make that again. He's not going to be rushing forward again. So, the only I see Periera getting the two division champion status because of his knockout power, and because of his opponents weren't as defensively sound as Adesanya. So that's my take on it. He's been knocked out more. He's been knocked out twice in kickboxing, by 2 TKOs. Also, his last fight, which is interesting, he lost by a guy with a 5-inch or 4-inch reach deficit, and he was short. He was only 6'1". This Russian guy, I can't remember his name. So it's interesting. So he is coming off a loss in kickboxing. Both these guys did. So that's another talking point. But I think the biggest talking points here are going to be the gloves, the experience, and the discrepancy in experience, the fitness and conditioning. We saw with Alex, especially in the kickboxing fights, he was slowing down. He was gassing, and Adesanya's going to take it to the 5th round. I think he'll just wear on it, and he alluded to it. He did an interview with Chris Weidman just a little bit earlier. And Weidman picked up on that he slows down and things like that. And Izzy was like, yeah, you know your stuff. And that's something that I'd already thought of. even in the Bruno Silva fight, I thought Bruno Silva won the second round. He got pretty pieced up in the third round, but yeah, he was struggling. Like his fitness, he was slowing down. That was only a 3-round fight. In kickboxing, it's only I think it's only 3 rounds. These are 5 rounds, 5-minute rounds. Izzy's used to that. Alex isn't. So that's going to be a huge talking point. Yeah, So my take, my prediction is Izzy's going to either get a TKO in the late 4th or 5th round or a decision win. That's what I'm going with. Trying to be as unbiased as possible because see, I am a Kiwi. Yeah, I think definitely Periera has the abilities to do it, but I just think Adesanya is just not going to get knocked out again. Like he's just not going to. He's just too smart for that, and he's just too like emotionally in control. I know leading up to the fights he seems all emotional and stuff like this, but when they lock the doors, he has a way of pushing all that aside, and he's in control. He's absolutely in control. So I don't know. I think Adesanya's just going to be a little bit too quick, a little bit too slick, and he'll either get the decision win or a late TKO in the 4th or 5th round due to Alex fatiguing. That's my take on it. Let me know what you think, and if you enjoy these videos, I'll crack on and do a few more. So enjoy the fights, and yeah, we'll see you for the next one. See you.